not much money. It's about $2 million a month comes in, whether I work or not. It's not Donald Trump, but that's enough.
Yeah, but you don't have the risk that the Don has either, because, with all that property, what happens if you can't sell it? It's not very liquid.
He's a developer. I'm not a developer. I'm an investor. The more you study business, you can make better distinctions as to why people are different. So Donald is a developer. I'm not a developer. I buy old properties and rent them. That's all Rich Dad, Poor Dad was cash flow versus capital gains. And 90% of the people are into capital gains. Their house goes up, their net worth, or their stocks go up, or they want to short the market.
What about really solid dividend companies that are showing long-term uptrends?
Problem with that, whose money do I have to put into that company? Mine. I'm trying to tell you guys something. I use other people's money. You know how my wife and I bought the golf courses and the big resorts? With pension funds. So there is a different world out. As you look at the richest people in the world, a lot of them didn't go to school. They're not blinded. Poor dad went to school. He was a PhD. My rich dad never went to school. He wasn't blinded. And he could see the world different. And, he taught me as a 9-year-old kid how to be rich playing Monopoly. 4 greenhouses, 1031 tax-deferred exchange into our red hotel. Notice the words tax-deferred exchange. I don't pay that much in taxes. I make a lot of money by using other people's money and playing the government system. That is called financial education, not buying mutual funds. That's marketing. I am pro-education. So in about 6 months, silver might be too expensive. That's where people miss. There's always something coming along the line. If we go into a depression, silver will go down. So the whole point here is get educated. That's all I'm saying to people. And while we're missing all these opportunities, well, go take an investment. Get educated. But most people would rather gamble. The price of the house goes up. Well, when's the bottom of the market? Those are gamblers' words. I don't use that. It's like hoping hoping I'll pull an inside flush. It's not what I do. I want to make sure I guarantee I get that inside flush.
Texas No Limits poker, right? That's what everyone wants. And there's only one winner at a table of 6 or 8 players. It doesn't seem like very good odds to me.
No, there's always a winner's the house.
They always get their cut.
We have Rich Dad's education and Rich Dad's coaching. And that's all my rich dad was to me, was my coach, my mentor, my teacher. And I still take investment courses. Like I'm taking a course on non-conventional financing. I'm always getting educated. But I don't want a college degree because it limits. It's really opposite to what everybody thinks. I am more my rich dad than my poor dad. I don't want to go back to school. I read books. I stay out of school. I stay away from the government. And I do everything exactly opposite of what the average person is doing. That's why the average person is being crushed. The middle class in America is gone because taxes and inflation is going to wipe. It's tragic. You want to be a labor union member like my poor dad? Knock yourself out. But I have stayed away from labor unions also. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a global citizen. I travel the world. I do what I want. And I obey the rules of the countries. I pay my taxes according to the rules, but I pay as little as I can. But I am constantly staying educated as global situations change. So the reason I'm buying oil and silver and gold and all that stuff and real estate is people need a roof over their head. They will burn oil no matter what. And silver is used up in industry, and gold is a good storehouse of value. That's it. It's not hard to figure that one out. I'm not betting on prices going up or down. My message is always the same. You've got to figure out what you want to get smart at. Somebody will take your money, and they're called financial planners. The difference between the real streets and my streets is on the streets, they shoot you if you do that. Over here, you got to take them to court. I don't save money. I hold my wealth in gold and silver because I have excess cash. And I don't need money because I always have cash flow coming in. And I need money, I use debt. So I have all this money. I said, well, what do I do with it? I'll put it in gold and silver. I don't want to put it in savings because your savings are ripped off by the fractional reserve bank.
Inflation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The middle class is being wiped out. They're saving money and they're putting it in 401k mutual fund. Possible way to hold money. The dollar is dropping like a rock and they're saving money. You got to be kidding me. And then they try and get out of debt, where a guy like me is trying to get into debt so I can buy something tangible that makes me money.
If the typical listener took that advice, and don't you think that they could get themselves in trouble if they didn't know what they were doing?
They're already in deep trouble. Well, if you're going to do foreclosures, take a course in foreclosures. You're going to do rental property, take a course in rental property. Now, if you just want to go out there and gamble, knock yourself out, but that's what all these guys are doing today. They just turn their money over to a financial planner who's going to steal their money. They've got to take a course, and then they've got to go out and do something. They've got to get experience by taking real-life action. Now, I've been doing this for so many years of my life since I was a kid. How many people out there have a job? Do you realize jobs are the worst way to make money because you'll be taxed more than anybody else?
But wouldn't you agree, though, that learning to invest wisely, even if you've had some courses, is really tough?
That's why you have a coach and a mentor. I don't know. It's really hard for people to hear. My rich dad was my coach, my mentor, and I just wanted to take educational courses. I didn't go back to school like my poor dad wanted me to do. Understand, I'm opposite of everybody else. I don't put money in savings. I don't put money in mutual funds. I want as much debt as I can get. So I'm opposite of everybody else, and that's really hard to understand, but I have the financial education to back that up.
And wouldn't you say having, your money tied up in gold and silver, and of course oil-producing properties as well, that gives you a good solid base from which to work with to get more speculative with other people's money?
I don't like to gamble. I don't go to Las Vegas, turn my money over to a financial planner or a mutual fund. Well, I think Steve Jobs of Apple said it. Think different. You really cannot think like everybody else is thinking. If you're going to school, getting a job, working hard, saving money, getting out of debt, living below your means, investing for the long term in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, you're getting wiped out. You know what's going to happen when inflation goes up, right? The average person will go back to school, get another college degree so they can make more money, and they move themselves into a higher tax bracket. Is that intelligent? Why don't you figure out how to make $1 million without paying taxes legally? That's more intelligent. But it's all relative. That's all I'm saying. But it takes you got to think different. If you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're going to wind up where they're going. They're going to go broke. America is broke. And so what are you going to do? Listen to Bernanke, listen to Obama, listen to Clinton, listen to George Bush? Give me a break. They don't work for you. They work for the rich.
Meyer Rothschild would be envious of Ben Bernanke.
Absolutely. Bernanke has more power than Obama because Bernanke can write checks in the billions. Obama cannot. The Federal Reserve is not American, privately held cartel.
It's a hybrid. Those 12-member banks, and you know this because you've read Creature from Jekyll Island, G. Edward Griffin, those 12-member banks, as you say, they're not owned by we the people, are they?
No. And there's even worse than that is that when, say, in 71, when Nixon took us off the gold standard, and the U.S. could print so much money, even the Federal Reserve Bank lost power to the OPEC petrodollars and the euro dollars, and now we have the euro. And so the world is flooded with money, but people are going broke. Isn't that kind of interesting?
Well, 1% of the United States controls 99% of the wealth.
Yeah. So you have to decide, what do I need to learn? John D. Rockefeller didn't go to college. Neither did Einstein. Edison created General Electric.
Edison had over 1,000 patents.
I would really get the message, People are being ripped off by the very people they trust. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying you're being ripped off. Now, you can decide whether that's good or bad. And it's up to you. I decided a long time ago as a kid that I wanted to be on the other side of the transaction. And my rich dad, you can read in my books, my rich dad often talked about there's two sides to a table. You're on the buy, sell, or the sell side. So I'm in the stock market, but I'm on the sell side, not the buy side. I sell shares of my companies. I don't buy shares of stock, but the average person's buying. That's why it's risky. They're buying my risk. But when you understand there's always two sides, that's when kind of people will wake up. But until then, they're going to wave the red, white, and blue, and they're going to cheer our troops in Afghanistan and Iraq. It's not even real debt. It's just printed money. And there's so much money out there, and if you're not getting any of it, you're doing something wrong. If you're right now broke and your money is being sucked out through taxes and through inflation and through mutual funds, you're doing something wrong. Somebody's put their hands in your pocket. That's all Rich Dad, Poor Dad was about. It said nicely and simply and poetically. But when you wake up and you look at who's getting rich, if you're not getting rich, you're on the wrong side of the table. And that's all it is. You got to decide which side of the table you want to be. Silver is the way to go right now.